everybody, welcome back to CNV Vlogs. So today is going to be a story time video, so I'm super excited. If you haven't read the title already, you probably already know, but it's going to be about the time I thought I was going to be a childhood celebrity. So it's kind of like a flashback because it was a long time ago, obviously, but yeah, it happened over like the course of a week, so it's gonna kind of bring me back a little bit, but it was kind of entertaining, I don't know, so I thought it would be funny to share with you guys, and also kind of a heads up what to look out for if you are trying to go to like casting calls, or if you're hearing things on the radio. But yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and get into it. It is kind of funny to me just to like think about and reminisce. Okay, so pretty much it happened by me and my mom. I think we had gone to the park, and I was like around, how old was I was like 11 years old, I believe, but yeah, so it was quite a while ago. So we're coming home, my mom was driving, and we were listening to the radio, and we're, you know, jamming or whatever, having a good time, and then the commercials come on, and we're kind of just like, oh, whatever, and like, you know how it is, like you ignore them half the time. But this one, it was like, are you a child, and do you want to be famous, and do you want to be on TV? And like, I'm not gonna say like where, but like they're pretty much just saying like, do you want to be an actor, be on TV, all that jazz. And of course I was like, oh my gosh, like mom, like listen to this. And so like I turned it up, and like of course she was kind of like, what the heck, like let me listen, because we never ever heard of anything like this before. And if you guys don't know, you're not family or whatever, but my dad was in a movie before, so he was, you know, like he knew, or we were kind of like aware what casting calls were, and so, you know, it kind of like triggered like us to listen more, because that's how we heard of his, you know, like that's how he got in his movie. But yeah, so when we heard casting calls for kids, we were kind of like, oh my god, like I want to be like dad, like let's do that. And you know, and for me when I was a kid, I was always like kind of involved in school. Like I would be on like the PA announcing. I was like a junior police officer, and I was over there opening the doors for the kids to get in their cars. I was like in Tahitian dancing classes, because yes, I grew up in Hawaii. I don't know if I mentioned this on this channel yet, but that's like other stories to tell later. But yes, I did grow up in Hawaii. But yeah, so like I was just super involved in school, so I'm not shy when it comes to like performing or speaking publicly, you know. So I kind of like, that was my thing, like yeah, like I want to be an actor, I want to be on TV. So I was telling my mom that I was like, please, like can I do it, like can you sign me up? And so we were kind of listening, and the funny part is, to me, it just cracks me up to this day, that the company name was The, if you were to see it in writing, but they said it was pronounced Tehe. And I swear to God that I've seen that on a movie before. I forgot what movie. Dumb and Dumber. Oh my god, yes. And they were like reading, and I swear I'm not making it up. You, like, my parents could vouch for me, and whatever, they called it Tehe. Yeah, so that is what the company was named. And I don't know. And then we're listening to like the number to call and all that jazz. And so my mom had wrote down the number in her phone, and she was gonna call later. And so yeah, time goes on. I told my dad about it, and that like we're excited, and my mom of course was talking about it with him. So of course, like they talked it over, and he was pretty much like, yeah, like I was in a movie, this could be her shot, like she could get famous, and you never know. And so I was like, yes, I'm gonna be famous, I'm so excited. And so obviously I got all excited, and I was deciding what I wanted to wear and like all that stuff. And because I was a kid, I was like 11 years old, I wasn't even in middle school yet, so I had like that innocent brain, like heck yeah, like I want to be like those little girls on the TV, you know. So I was excited, of course. So yeah, I had decided that I wanted to wear like a nice pretty dress. You know what, this is the one. I'm finally gonna have my moment in this dress, and I'm gonna be famous, and like this is the dress. This dress will make me famous. I don't know, that's just how I would think back then. But I ended up saying that I wanted to wear it, and like my mom, she did my hair, and she ended up doing my makeup all pretty. She put like mascara and like a little bit of lip gloss, and I felt really pretty because I never wore makeup, you know, so like I was like feeling super special. I was like, yes, this is the time, like I'm gonna do it, like I'm so excited, I'm ready for this. But they basically said that, okay, this is the time and place, like make sure you're here at this time and dress formal and all that stuff. We went to this hotel, and so pretty much we're walking to, and in Hawaii, if y'all live in big cities in general, I think it's like this everywhere, but parking is not ever, you know, convenient half the time. So we ended up going earlier than what it was, and we still like struggled finding parking. We ended up having to park 3 blocks away, I think, and then we had to walk to like the hotel that it was being hosted at. And so we ended up doing that, and I wore flats. And I don't know why, but this has always been a thing with me when I wear flats, that they're always like too big. Like I always get the ones that are too big for me, and I think it's because I have wide feet. Don't make fun of me or laugh at me, but I do have wide feet because I grew up wearing sandals my whole life, and so my feet aren't narrow like those flat shoes are made for, and so I always get them a size too big, and that's always a bad idea because it scrapes like the back of your heel and it bleeds and all that fun stuff. But I ended up getting I found some flats that I was going to wear with the dress, and when we walked over to the thing, I didn't say anything to my parents, but my foot was hurting so bad because it was just hitting like my heel and scraping it. I think I ended up bleeding too, but I remember how much pain I was in, and I was like, no, like I can't be uncomfortable. I have to be on my A game. Like I have to feel confident and whatever. But I didn't want my parents to stress or anything, so I think I didn't like tell them what was going on with my feet. But yeah, it was pretty painful. But yeah, so we ended up getting there, and I was over here all like just walking with a limp because I was like in pain, and you know, I was just walking in there, and I looked and I was like, oh my god, because I never really been in like a banquet area like that besides school, but you know, that wasn't really anything. It's really beautiful in there. They had it set up, like I said, with the projector and like a bunch of chairs where like you were supposed to sit and watch that video that they were playing, and you walked in, and then you got a paper that they were handing out to all the kids that were auditioning. No, actually, okay, the first person you meet up with, you go in there and you are talking to them a little bit. They were greeting you, you know, all that stuff, and they pretty much ask you like, oh, what are your interests? Like, what do you feel like you're most connected to? And they showed like 4 little papers, and you had to like read all of them, and then they said whichever one grabs your attention more, you could talk about that or use this one. And so I ended up picking one that was about skincare for teenagers, or like something like that, like where it was like acne clearing and all that jazz. And at the time, I never broke out before, so I was like, yeah, like I can do this because my skin's clear, like, you know, like I think I know a little bit about this. But I ended up just choosing that one, and it was, I don't know, I forgot what it was. I think honestly it was a brand that didn't even exist. It was like a whole made up script, like pretend that you're talking about this and you're on a commercial and you're saying these lines. And so you have like a script pretty much that you have to memorize, and you're supposed to go sit down, and then they said, well, the way they said it, they said that you're going to go talk to people, that they're going to interview you, and then after you're done with them, you're going to go onto the camera set, and you pretty much just stand in front of this huge camera and you say your lines that you memorized. So pretty much the whole time you're sitting down watching that little clip they had playing up on the screen, you're supposed to also be memorizing all your lines, and it wasn't really anything. It was like 2 lines that I remember, and yeah, so you're pretty much just supposed to remember those lines, memorize them, and be ready to like, you know, be ready to perform in front of the camera. And so I just remember sitting there with my mom and dad, and I was kind of like, oh my god, like this is intense. Like I didn't know I was supposed to memorize anything. Like like because I don't know what to expect on these things. When my dad went, all they pretty much did, you put information on your paper, they take a picture of you, and you're done. That's how that went. But for this one, you were supposed to go and like actually like act on the camera. And so whenever, I was pretty much caught off guard. I didn't know, so I was kind of nervous and sweating. And my mom had straightened my hair, and my hair is naturally curly, and in Hawaii it's humid, so humid. I would rarely ever straighten my hair over there because it would just become a frizz ball, and it's just not cute. And so she ended up straightening my hair, and I was sweating so much because I was nervous, and it's hot over there. And yeah, my hair, I just remember my hair felt so frizzy and sticky, and I was just kind of like, ugh, like it feels gross, So it was kind of adding more stress in my head. And at the time I was a kid, so I didn't really know what stress was, but I really felt so overwhelmed with stress that day. And yeah, so like I remember just sitting there going over the lines, and my mom was pretty much like, calm down, like you're gonna do great, just pretend you're talking to me, it's gonna be okay. And I was like, okay, and she was like hyping me up kind of, and she was just saying how you used to do the announcements on TV, just act like you're doing that again, you're just talking to nothing, but you're really talking to like a lot of people. It's kind of like this, like how I'm talking to nothing but, or like a camera, but it's like going out there for a bunch of people to see. But yeah, so she was probably preparing me for that. Thanks, Mom. But anyways, yeah, so they ended up calling our name or well, my name, and we ended up going to the next section, walking over there, and my feet were still hurting. I was limping over there, and I was like walking up to it was like a little table, the people that are like, interviewing you, or you're supposed to audition in front of them and all that stuff. They were sitting there. It was about like 5 people, and I only talked to one of them. I don't know why, but they said, okay, you're gonna go with this person, and they're gonna ask you a couple questions, and then you move on. And so I was like, okay, like what's going on? And I am so soft spoken, especially back then, because I was so like quiet. Like my voice is naturally quiet, and that's why like in a lot of these videos I feel like I over edit my voice to sound louder, because my voice is really low, and I'm monotone, and it's just kind of like hard, like I'm not the best. I try. It's a work. I've been working on this my whole life. But so whenever they were talking to me, you had to stand literally like so far from them, and it didn't make sense, because I was like, how are you gonna hear me in my head, because I knew that I was really quiet. And pretty much they were just asking me, like, why are you here, what's interesting about this to you? And I forget, like, I think one was like super random, like, what's your favorite hobby, like, do you have any hobbies? And I just remember standing there, and I was kind of like, I just want to be on TV, and I wouldn't mind, because I feel like I have experience from school activities. And yeah, and I just remember talking so low that they were like, huh? Like, they were trying so hard to hear me, and they're like, okay, yeah, and I was just kind of like, because I can tell that they were looking at me like, like she's really quiet. And then another person came over, and she was like, speak up a little louder, because they can't hear you. There's a bunch of people talking, and you're gonna have to speak a little louder. And I was like, okay. And I hate hearing that, because I know that like it's a bad trait of me that like I just talk low. So I felt like, oh, they already don't like me. And so I was like, yeah, my favorite hobby is volleyball. I play volleyball, and I used to dance Tahitian, and I feel like I'm comfortable being in front of people. And I was just like kind of just saying whatever, And then they're like just writing it down. I'm like, okay. And I looked at them, and I was just like, that's all I have to say. Like, I'm not good at talking about myself to other people. And so I just remember my answers being so short. And they only asked like 3 questions, and I was like, what an interview. Like, I wish interviews were always like that. But yeah, so they said, okay, yeah, that's all. You're just gonna follow so and so, and she's gonna take you to the next step. And I was like, okay. And then my family was all like, thank you, we appreciate it, thank you. Because they're, you know, like, they're pretty much speaking for me, because I was just kind of like, okay. And then, like, I just went, and I didn't even say, like, thank you, nice to meet you, or anything. Like, flopped. But yeah, so we ended up going in front of the camera, and I had my lines. I looked at it one more time, and then I looked at the camera, and I said my lines. I really don't remember what it was. I think it was something like, I love using such and such cream because it clears my skin and I get all the confidence that I need. It was something really cheesy like that. Yeah, I said my lines in front of the camera, and then it was pretty much, that was it. You could leave after that, and it went by like super quickly. I was probably there like maybe 30 minutes, if that. I don't even think it was that long, but it felt like longer, of course, because I was so nervous. But yeah, pretty much after that, they said that, okay, like, give me your lines, and here's another paper. Pretty much just a bunch of paperwork for my mom and dad. And they said that if they like me, that they will we will be hearing from them soon, and then if not, then it just didn't work out. So pretty much they're like, you know, like a regular interview, like if you get the call back, then woohoo. So we ended up going home, and it was like, that was it. A couple of days later go by, and my parents ended up getting a call saying that they really liked me, and that they really want me to come back, and they want to send me to this camp where they train me into acting, kind of like an acting camp. And I already forgot like what the name of the camp was, but they said, if I'm interested in going, please come back to the hotel. And it was like a different location though, like it wasn't in like the big banquet room, it was like in an actual like office type room, and you're supposed to go there and on this such and such day if I'm looking to continue with them. And so my mom goes and tells me that, and I was like, are you sure? Like, because I feel like I didn't do that good, because I felt like the interview went wrong. I felt like whenever I said my lines, I wasn't as enthusiastic, because, you know, like how I said, I was really shy back then, so I was like kind of really monotone, and I don't even know if the camera picked up my voice because I was so quiet. But yeah, they said they ended up liking me, and so of course I was like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna be famous, like, this is it, this is my time, like, I'm gonna buy you a house when I get money, and all this stuff. Like, I was already, like, so excited. And so we ended up, like, telling my dad. He was super excited, and we were like, okay, like, this is what we have to do next. All that, we got dressed up all over again, and then we went whenever it was said to be there. So we go, and then we're sitting down in like a hallway type thing, because they had people, like a lot of people there, actually, surprisingly. I was like, I thought they only liked me. I thought this was my meeting, you know, but they had like a bunch of kids there, like with their parents, and I was kind of just looking around, and I was like, okay, so whatever. But I thought I was special, but it was actually like I was involved, and so were all these other kids. So I was like, okay, like, that's not weird. But we sit down in this hall, kind of like in line. This lady comes out with her kid, and they're all laughing and whatever, and like, yay, like, I can't wait to go, like, it's so exciting and all this stuff. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, like, they're excited, like, let's see what happens next. And then this other family comes out, and they're like walking down the hall, and they're pretty much like telling everybody,
it's a scam, like, don't do it, save your money, they're only here to get your money, like, don't even waste your time. If I were you, just go home, like, don't even go talk to them.
and all this stuff. And we're kind of like, what? Like, what are they saying? And me, I was like a kid, like, I didn't even know what scamming was. I was kind of like, what does that mean? Like, a scam? Is that a good thing? You know, I was kind of like, what the heck? And so my mom and dad look at each other, and they're like, what? And I think they like ended up pulling the guy aside, or I can't remember really, but heard him talking, and he was pretty much saying like, do your research, look up this company, look at what all the reviews are saying, all this stuff, like it's a scam, like don't do it, they just want your money, you know, pretty much. And so my parents were kind of like concerned, and of course they're all like, what the heck? And I think we ended up just getting up and leaving because my parents were like, like we're not gonna do this. And so I was like, what? Like that easy? Like why? Like, and so they're just like, come on, like it's not even a real thing, like come on, let's go. And I was like, okay. And so they ended up doing some research, and they found out that yes, it is a scam. All the reviews were horrible, and they're saying like all these bad things, that like they charge you $5,000 to send me to a camp where it's just pretty much a summer camp, and you're kind of like acting but not really, and it's just like pointless pretty much. It's just $5,000 to go to this camp where they claim that you're gonna be trained how to be an actor and how to be famous and all these things you need to know, when really it's just pretty much a regular camp, and they have a fashion show, and that's it. Because they did have a fashion show, but it wasn't like a training really. It was just kind of like, oh, we're gonna have a fashion show, bring your nice clothes, and you're gonna walk across the runway. So it wasn't even like, it was so bad. Like all the reviews were like saying all these things, and I just remember hearing it all.
So does that mean I'm not gonna be famous? Does that mean I'm not that special?
And like I just had all these things like running through my mind, and my parents were pretty much saying like they had hosted this whole auditioning casting call, and they pretty much called every single kid back, and they were just trying to get everyone to sign up for this camp. Like it was all like fake, pretty much, just to get you to sign up for this camp so they could get your money. Actually, not even half, probably like one kid, and they kept saying that name over and over and over again, and that was pretty much the only kid that actually got famous from this camp. And it wasn't even probably thanks to this camp, it was probably just thanks for their parents for continuing to promote that child until they got famous. And so pretty much this whole thing was a whole scam. It was fake. It was just taking advantage of people and their money, and it's pretty sad because it kind of plays with your emotions, like when you're a kid. Because I remember being super excited and feeling like I was all special and all that stuff, and then just to be told
that, oh no, you're not special, we chose everyone, yeah, we just want your money,
like pretty much. And it was kind of sad to me, but I wasn't like devastated. It was definitely an experience. Definitely a roller coaster with my emotions, and I don't know, I thought it was interesting. But yeah, that's the time that I thought I was gonna be famous, when I was a kid, and it was actually fake and a scam. And if you ever hear about a company doing casting calls called Tehe, don't, my voice, don't fall for it. It's fake. Just, I don't even know if they're still using the same name, because I heard a year later the same commercial coming on, but they're under a different name. So, I don't know. If you go and bring your kid to a casting call for child actors, don't. You better really research the company name and look at the reviews and look what other people are saying, because you don't want to get scammed. That $5,000 is a lot of money, and yeah, just don't do it. Okay guys, so that's going to wrap up this story time video. I really hope you guys enjoyed listening. I thought it was an interesting time in my life to share with you guys, and I hope you guys were entertained, even if you just had me talking to you while you're doing your makeup or while you're doing chores. Like, that's what I do with the other story time videos, so I hope, you know, y'all enjoyed listening to this weird, interesting story time. So if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up. It really means a lot to me. And subscribe if you're into these kinds of videos, because I have a lot more story times probably coming soon. Subscribe to stay involved with my life, hear more story times, go plant shopping with me, or just have a typical day in the life of a vlog. And I have another plot twist coming to this channel soon, so stay tuned for that. I can't really say exactly what it is yet, but just keep an eye out. It's going to be very entertaining, I promise. But yeah, so thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!